Okay, we're live.
There's no what?
All right, we're live. Go.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our getting a late start here, but our live YouTube lesson on Mondays at 11:30 Central Time. Every Monday, we're going to be here. Man, when you know it, you get in here and then we have, everything's already set up and just technical difficulties. One of the cameras not working, and then we can't get something else on the computer. So just a comedy of errors here with technology, but thankfully we got a couple of the cameras going now and got the audio going. Say hello to my wife, Shawn. She's actually on the microphone now. We can hear her, I think.
Hello.
And you want to tell everybody what we did a couple of days ago, what to look forward to on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, we're releasing our Willie Nelson episode 2 of the Artist Series podcast.
Yay. So many of you love the Elton John Artist Series podcast that we did. On Wednesday will be the premiere of that. We're going to premiere it at noon Central Time, and we'll actually be on YouTube there so that we can, comment to you guys as you watch it, and you have questions, we can comment with you with the live chat. That's so neat on YouTube to do the live chat thing. We're going to get to the lesson in just a minute. I want to give everybody a chance to get on, especially since we're a few minutes late getting started. If you're watching, hey, give us a shout out. Do a comment. Let us see who you are, where you're coming from. Any questions that you have, that'll be great. I wonder if Wooter's watching this morning. He actually he watched the live lesson last week and sent in a video. And so we're going to, at some point, let you guys see that because he practiced what we had last time and did very well with that. So, very good job there, Wooter.
And hopefully we'll get the You've Got a Friend in Me lesson uploaded today. We had trouble with that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of technical difficulties, we uploaded our videos like we normally do, but something changed with our Vimeo hosting. And so the file isn't being recognized, so we just have to have our technical guy work that out so that the lessons will show up. But it's 6 lessons, and it's pretty extensive. It's if you like playing that New Orleans blues style, or you just love that song, from Toy Story. I mean, everybody's heard that. It was a fun lesson to do, and that was from all you guys voted. Shawn had this great idea of voting in the newsletter on which song for me to do next, as a request, and that was overwhelming. You Got a Friend in Me. The next one, well, you'll just have to see in the newsletter, but everyone's voted on that one as well. So there's another good one coming up that I'll be working on.
You don't want to tell everybody?
I guess I could tell everybody. Okay. Everybody voted on it's a Billy Joel song. What's the name of it?
Don't Ask Me Why.
Don't Ask Me Why, yeah. Real neat, kind of quirky song. And I've always wanted to do that one. In fact, I thought I had done it.
You know what, Shawn?
What?
I bet everybody's confused because we had our time change yesterday.
Oh.
So Wooter just commented he thought we'd be on in 45 minutes.
Oh, so we're actually early.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. So in America...
Yeah, we have this stupid thing where we have something called daylight savings time. And, wow. Yeah, so you guys know what it is. So that it changes, so we lose an hour. And so everything's thrown off until everybody gets used to it.
So all our friends, international apologies.
Yeah, right, we
America
apologize.
time. It messes me up, too.
Yep, and I imagine especially if you don't live here, don't have to deal with that. So, but anyway, yeah. So it is 11 something Central Time right now. So I guess a lot of people watch it on the, when it's not live. That's all right. Still put your comments.
You know what I was thinking too?
Huh?
Also the next podcast that we're starting to research and work on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little connection between You've Got a Friend in Me.
Really?
To the new artist that we're doing.
When did you find that out?
I mean, I always knew it. I guess I just put
I didn't know
one
that.
and two together.
I didn't know that. Wow, but the next one is still a secret, right?
It's a secret, yeah.
Okay, so I won't say it.
I don't want to commit. I have commitment issues, everyone.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, the Elton John one was so much fun. And the Willie Nelson one, so much fun. Again, it's premiering this Wednesday at 11:30 Central Time. Remember, we had a time change here. And we wrote songs for both of them, and they're both pretty cool. I think you'll really like it. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
All right, we got a couple people. We got James from Michigan.
Hey, James, how you doing?
He
From Michigan?
He must be a longtime watcher. He remembers the beef stew video. Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, we just decided to do something. Shauna has a beef stew. And I haven't had beef stew in a while. When are you going to make that again?
I knew that was coming. All right, next we got Gary watching from Long Beach.
Hey, Gary.
And
how's it going, buddy?
Here.
Who?
Wooter, yes,
great. Yes, thank you for your video, a couple of videos that you sent in to me. And we're going to work those in. We couldn't today because of I was going to have it play, but
It will likely be in the newsletter Friday.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. But Wooter learned the lesson from this, live about what we're about to start. In fact, we probably should get to that, huh?
Let's get to it.
Okay, so last week we did, these build on each other. So if you haven't done the first lesson, you probably should do that one before you get to this one. But we did the Bach prelude. And we learned that it's good to get your hand in position for the chord pattern before you have to play each individual note. You just get in position. If you can learn that, it's so great. Like if I said a sentence, I went to the store today, how much easier it is to write the words of that sentence than it is to write each letter. I, W, E, N, T. If I know I went to the store, you know words. And that's how the same thing is when you play chords, having your hand in position before that chord, before you even start. Then you think position, and it just simplifies things so much. Today we're going to look at what's called a 5-finger pattern. Or a 5-finger hand position. So what we'll do is we'll go to the piano, and then we'll kind of go back to this front camera because the side one isn't working today. But let's go to the piano here. So here's the sheet. So this is going to work for you guys who want to play, if you want to read notes better, or if you don't know how to read notes at all and you want to read notes, or if you don't care about reading notes, then you have my letters in there. Okay, so it's going to work for everybody. You're also going to be helped with your technique, with your ear. So these lessons are designed to help everybody. This is another Bach piece. Okay, the last one was Bach. You can learn so many things from Bach. Okay, so this one is... on. Okay, so the reason we're doing this one, because I pick each piece very specifically, okay? And I really mean it when I say you can learn everything from Bach. You really can. It's all in there. I'm using this one for the 5-finger pattern. Remember whenever you maybe had piano lessons when you were younger and you had a C position. And then you went to middle C position. And then you went to G position and blah, 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 position. And then one day your teacher says, play this. And you go, well, I can't do. What position is it in? And she says, or he says, there's no position. Just play it. I've done that. I've said that as a teacher. There's no position. Just play the notes. Well, that's true. But it also, in a way, it's actually not true. Because when you play the piano, you typically will have hand positions. They just move around quite often. So you can have a position and then another position, another position. You can play so many things from one 5-finger pattern. And let me show you what I mean. All right, so we played this first little thing. I'll show you how to play it in a minute. But from that one position, all right, and then I go to another 5-finger position. So I'm in one place right there, one place right here, and then one place right here. That 5-finger position is so important to realize that. And, whether I play Beethoven or I play Elton John or I play a solo from Stairway to Heaven, there are just hand positions. And they move around a lot. But getting in that position and feeling that 5-finger pattern under your fingers is so important. Okay, so this piece is going to help that today. So we're going to start in measure 1. We're going to learn this the way we always do. And I hope some of you are right in front of your piano or your keyboard and you're learning along with me so that you can ask questions or comment. That's great. We can have a little interaction here and you can get some actual live help as you're doing this. But we look at the right hand and we start on a D above middle C. It's up here. 5th finger on the D. Here's the 5-finger pattern. G, A, B, C, D. Okay. D, G, A, B, C, D, G. It actually goes 2 measures there for that 5-finger position, okay, before we move to a different position. Okay? If you have trouble with reading notes and you want to get better at notes, there are a lot of apps. There's one I use for my kids called Music Tutor, and all it is you just you see the note and you just hit the name of it or show where it is on the keyboard, and it really helps you to learn where the notes are on the staff and on the piano. But all right, so we have 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. So that one position right there, I can play all of that. Okay, whether I'm playing Bach or Elton John style. So there's my right hand in that G position, and my left hand's also going to have the same thing. All right, so G, B, D in the left, it's a G chord. Okay, so G, B, D. And why don't you do yourself a favor and try to memorize the formula GBD. Anytime you have a GBD, even if it's the letters are mixed up or you have 2 G's or 2 D's or whatever, it's always a G chord, okay? And there's only so many chords, and if you can memorize that one, there's only 6 to go. All right, so back to the board. We have our G chord, and then the A is already right there under our finger, A, and then a B. Okay, we're in bass clef here for left hand. C, middle C. Oh, that's the next one. So we'll just stick with G chord, A, B. Okay, so here's the formula, and this will give you routine to your practice and really help you to have something that you do every time that you can depend on, that makes you feel comfortable, and you don't feel like you're just floating around, but that you have a plan. Okay, we're just going to sometimes you can take one measure. I think it's good in this piece to take 2 measures. So play the right hand 3 times. Here's the second time. My 9-year-old son learned this one a couple of months ago, and he has it memorized, but that's how we learned it. Okay, so we do it 3 times, do the left hand 3 times. A, B, and then so forth. So let's say you did it 3 times, and then we're going to put it together 3 times, really slow. So we have together, right, right, together, right, together, right, right. So 1, 2. Now I'm going kind of fast there, but you'll probably be slow for a while, and that's fine. But you do it 3 times. Okay, so that's our 5-finger pattern. We're in that one pattern. Now we're about to get to another 5-finger pattern, because remember, like I said earlier, all piano music, you are in a 5-finger position. It just kind of moves around quick for particular types of music. All right, so here we go, back to the board. I could even play it in minor. So it applies to minor as well. Now, we did that 5-finger position. Now we're going to move up to here. Now we have to play an F sharp when we get to F, because F sharp is in the key signature. So whenever you have one sharp over here, that's a sharp, that little tic-tac-toe board, you're going to automatically sharp all the Fs, okay, unless otherwise noted, all right? So E, C, D, E, F sharp, G, okay? Now right here we reach down for G, so that's not part of the 5-finger pattern, but of this one, but it actually gets us in position for the next 5-finger pattern. Okay, E, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and G on the thumb. So we do that 3 times, because this is the next 2 measures. Then we'll do the left hand 3 times, C to B. All right, so let's say you did it 3 times, then we put them together 3 times. Again. Okay, so it's not to say you're never going to move over, get out of that 5-finger pattern, but a lot of piano music is based around those 5-finger patterns, okay? And we're already ready for this one. Now, what you would do at this point is you would tie these together. So you'd start at the beginning. So 2 things on that. One, it's kind of like if you've ever built Legos, you have these little packages, In one package, you'll build one thing, and you have another package open up, and you build this, and then you put them together. It's the same thing as we're learning here. You're doing one package, which is 2 measures, get it down, and then you do the next 2 measures, get that down, and then you put them together, all right? And you build the chain, as I say, often. Now, what else was I going to say? Something really good, but Shawn actually plays this one, don't you?
Yes, me and my 9-year-old son. He's
Yeah.
actually better than me.
He's an awesome sight reader, my little Jonah, because yeah, and he's way better sight reader than I was. He's going to be one of those people that can just read the dots off the page. I mean, some people can just do it. I'm not one of those. I have to work really hard to be able to read. It just comes really naturally to him, so he's kind of lucky there. All right, so back to the board here.
I will say if I practice, I could be good, but I do not ever practice.
That's part of it, right? Yeah, you have. Sean has got a lot of talent, but you have to. Yeah,
I don't have a lot of time.
mix that with practice. But yeah, it's hard to get practice time. What was I gonna say? It was really good. Anyway, it'll come back to me, I guess. All right, so there we go. We have these first two, or at least these first four measures learned. Then we move on. All right, so now we're on in this pad. Our G was on our thumb, so we stay there. Okay, here's the next one. C. I'm going to play it with my fourth finger. D, C, B, A, B, C, B, A, G. And notice the quarter notes get one count. 1, 2. And then the eighth notes get half a count. 2 and 3. And so quarter notes are 1, this length. Eighth notes are dot, 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 dot. Okay? Keep going. B, C, B, A, G. So that's our two measures. And that's our 5-finger position. Left hand's on an A, and then a G. Real important to play it separately and then put them together. Even if you don't need to play it separately, it's good to do it. And then we would tie that to the beginning. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to move on. All right, so the next one, we're still in that 5-finger position, but I'm just going to reach over with my second finger and play F sharp, G, A, B, G, B, A. And Shawn, if we have any questions or anything, you feel free to interrupt me.
Okay.
So F sharp, G, A, B, G. Now this is called an appoggiatura. You just play it like 2 quarter notes. B, A, okay? Left hand, D, B, G. So that is a broken G chord like we had at the beginning was a 3-note chord. This is going to be a broken G chord. There's that chord thing, remember? It happens all the time. Here's one. Just a broken chord. So you get your fingers already in position before you start it. Now we put our hands together. That's once, second time, and the third time. Okay. Now this part was left hand D, low D, middle C, B, A. So D, D, C, B, A. So the B goes with that D. I know this is weird notation. Then the A actually goes over here. It's an appoggiatura. Okay, and you may say, why do they write it that way? We'll talk about that one day, but not right now. So bum, 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 bum. So I'll do those two measures together now. Very good. So that is kind of the first half of the opening. Now we're going to have some repeating, which is always great. We always love when music repeats because then we don't have to work so hard to learn the next part. But I just remembered the thing I was going to talk about. The 5-finger position, as we go from one position to the next, it's very important that you be able to do that many times without looking at your hand. Because whenever we look down, it slows us down, right? If we're trying to read, whether you're reading actual music notation or you're reading my whiteboard stuff, you'll really have some more, quickness and not have to stop. If you can get to where you don't have to look at your hand every few seconds, that really slows us down. Because we look at our hand, then we look back up and we forgot where we were. We just, we can just get lost. So if you can try to do these things without looking down, let's go back to the board and show you what I mean. As you go from this one, try to just feel for the E. You know the E is right here. Just move your third finger. Just feel for it. Just feel for it. You'll miss it a few times, and then sometimes you'll get it. And you may even have to look to see if you got it or not until you recognize what it sounds like. Without looking at your hand, then feeling for the G. Don't look down. You'll never get to where you don't have to look unless you make yourself do it so that your body is forced to adjust to it, okay? Try not to look down. Just look at the music. Look at the letters or the notation, whichever you're looking at. All right, now, the next part. All right, Shauna, how deep are we into this lesson? How many minutes are we?
About 19,
Oh, that's
almost
good.
20 minutes.
That's good. Okay, great. All right. So, again, if you have any comments or questions about learning this or piano in general, feel free to ask. So we're starting right here. guys, I'll post the sheet again on my YouTube channel, and where it says community. You click that, and then there'll be the sheet you can look at for this, so you can practice. And so you can practice the other Bach piece that we did. D, G, A, B, C, D. That's the same, so we won't go over that. And again, I'm gonna go quicker here, but you can still take your time learning one measure at a time, okay? This is the same. And this is the same until here. This is the different part. So all of this here is the same until you get here. A, B, A, G, F sharp, G, 2, 3, 2, 1. Cross over with your 2 finger for F sharp. That's a great way to do a sharp when you're going below your thumb. And you just come back. Now the left hand, unfortunately, is not all the same. It's a little bit more complex here. Let's look at it. B, A, G, B, G, C, B, C, B, A, G, A, F sharp, G, B, C, D, D, G, G. Okay? So you would go through one measure at a time, right? But I've got to go quicker here so we can have just a 30-minute lesson. So I'm going to start right here and go slow. Now I'm here. 1, 2, 3. So that is the first half of the music. So let's talk about what a typical practice time would be for you.
Hey, Shawn, let me break in with
yeah.
a question.
Okay.
So Wooter was asking if you had a specific fingering that you recommend. I asked what measure, so he might be getting back to me. But
okay.
Maybe on those measures where you have to cross over.
Yeah. I would say just look at the 5-finger pattern. You start out with a 5-finger pattern here. Then you have a different one here. Then you have to reach down for the G, but that puts you in position for the next 5-finger pattern, which is the first one. You cross over for the F sharp with a 2-finger, but then you're right back. So you're still in the G position, and then you're in the C position here. Again, reach down for the G octave, stay there. Cross over the F sharp there. So there's really not, you're either here or you're here. On the G or on the C position, is if we want to call it that. Okay, the left hand just stays on a G the whole time, except for when you have to reach down for a D. Now, talking about fingerings a little bit, everybody wants to know, what fingering should I use for this? The people that have the best fingerings for themselves are the ones who really don't pay attention to the ones in the book. They use what works for them. You get good at fingerings by playing a lot of music, and your brain just starts to your brain and your hands get on the same page, and you start to figure it out. I don't think you're going to be able to sit there and analytically say, okay, what fingering is this going to... It has to be experience. It's something you just have to do, and your brain starts to figure it out. I mean, when I first start learning a piece, I'll just see what happens, and I'll have terrible fingerings on a lot of it, and then I'll start to work it out, what's best for me. And why? Because I've played so much music, and that'll happen for you as well. You know, you just start to figure out what's going to work. Now, the fingerings that the book may give you kind of can be a guide, but it's usually what's easiest on your hand, what causes the least amount of movement, the least amount of having to, change position or whatever. That's usually the best fingering, and not everyone has, will do the same fingering for everything, because our hands are different, and what works for one won't work for another. So it's a personal thing, and you really can develop a sense of good fingering if you just play a lot of music and don't, you don't use a bad fingering. You don't want to play a scale and do this. So keep using your pinky, but just try some things out and see what works, see what naturally you do. And you really will start to work that out as you play a lot of music. But I would not sit there and try to be analytical and spend your whole lesson trying to figure out what fingering to use. Just play the note, and it'll all work out in the end. I really feel that
All
way.
right, we got another good, music in general question.
Okay, go ahead.
So Steve is here with us, and he is also learning to play guitar.
Uh-huh.
And he wonders if you would suggest learning one to help the other, or would you suggest learning one at a time, like guitar and piano?
So he plays guitar already?
No, he probably plays piano and he's also learning guitar, or maybe he's learning both at the same time.
Okay, let's say this. Let's say you're a proficient guitar player. You're good at guitar. You got it. You can play what you want
But
to.
he is learning guitar right now.
Okay. Well, and I'll get to that. So, but
Okay.
for someone who can just play already, and then they go to, want to learn to play piano. I have a lot of web piano teacher students who are that way, and I don't think it really hurts anything to go back and forth between one and the other if you're really proficient at one. Right? If the guitar is, you got it, you're not going to lose that. The piano's secondary. And so you can go back and forth. Same with piano. If you're really good at piano, then you go to guitar. I will say your fingers are going to hurt on your left hand, and you'll develop some calluses on there, and so it'll feel different on the keyboard. So you can't quite feel the keys quite as well, but you get used to that. So if you're really strong on one instrument or the other, I don't think it hurts anything to go back and forth. But if you're a beginner on both, I would definitely stick with one. Have periods of time where you only do piano, and then periods of time where you only do guitar. Maybe, for a couple of days you do your piano, and then for a couple of days you do guitar. Go back and forth, but I wouldn't go back and forth like in the same day all the time. I think that's going to kind of wear you out and confuse you, because, it just will. I mean, if I was going to try to learn, 2 instruments right now that I didn't know, I wouldn't. I'd pick one, get proficient at it, and then you can add another one. So that's my advice there for that. But good question. I have a lot of, crossover, people who play guitar and want to come to
We lost our front camera feed.
the front one. Oh, maybe here. Let's get it back on.
We have new cameras, guys, and we're all right.
Yeah. Okay, so I will just wrap up this lesson. There's a B section here. For you guys to practice, I would say that A section we did is enough. But if you want to go ahead and learn the rest of it, you can. This is the B section. Okay? It's like,
Steve just said, in response to yours, he said that was his instinct. That was his thinking also, which, Steve, I say 9 times out of 10, your instinct's probably going to be right.
Yeah. There's something called spreading yourself too thin. And I tend to do that if I'm not careful, to where we're, instead of being really good at one thing, we become sort of good at a lot of things, and then eventually not really good at many things. So you want to...
So somebody asked the question, how long should they stay on the same song?
Okay, well, if you're getting tired of it and bored, definitely need to go to something else. If it's too hard, if something is too difficult, sometimes we have to scrap a song. It takes a lot of courage to do that, to say, you know what, I shouldn't have picked that one to work on. And then you move to something else, because you don't want that song to ruin. But if you feel like it's right in your wheelhouse where you can play it and you're getting it, I would say play it until you can get through it comfortably, maybe at a medium tempo, maybe not as fast as the recording is. When you feel comfortable and you can get through it and it sounds like the song and you have parts of it memorized, I say it's okay to go on and start adding another one, because you're going to get better. My whole thing is getting you guys better, not at one song, but to make you better musicians. And the way you do it is by learning a whole bunch of music, but it can't be too hard, and you can't, spread yourself too thin. So work on that one, again, like I said, where you start to memorize it, where you can get through it, where it sounds like the song. Maybe you have some pauses, that's okay. Then add another song and play and work on that one while continuing to go work through that other one. And that may take weeks, it may take months, depending on what kind of player you are, where your skill level is, and how hard the song is. But you'll have an instinct about that. And so the idea is to get, 4, 5, 6, even up to 10 songs that you're pretty good at, instead of one that you're really good at that you hate because you can't stand it anymore because you're tired of hearing that song over and over. Okay, it's better to have a wealth of music that you're pretty good at. You're going to start to become a better musician doing that. If you stay on that one song and beat it to death, that's not really going to make you better. It's really not, and it's no fun either. Okay, so a lot of music that you enjoy that's not too hard. That's the key. So that's my advice there. I'm going to play this B section of this. Just in case some of you guys want to be ambitious and learn the other part. I'm not going to assign this, but... I went to there. Here's the last part.
Whoops, I forgot to change the camera.
I'll play it one more time at the top. Here's the next section. Those sharps. C natural and 1, 2, and 3. So if someone works on this and practices it and learns the other Bach piece that we did the last lesson, I'd love to hear you play both of them, even if they're not perfect. In fact, I'm glad that Wooter sent in his video. He had, one place where he had to pause for a second. A lot of people are so critical of themselves. They won't send anything in because it's not perfect. And hey, let me tell you something. It's never going to be perfect. We just do the best we can and we have fun. And so, yes, send us your videos. Let us know. You can do that through the website on the contact page. Anyway, so this is our 5-finger position again. So as you play, notice those 5-finger hand positions and try to get from one to the other without looking down. Just go for it. Yeah, you're going to miss it at first. You're going to miss it sometimes till your brain and hands start to get on the same page and you learn how to get there without looking. You'll really speed up your sight reading and how fast you learn songs.
All right, so let's just kind of quick recap. So Wednesday, we're going to premiere episode 2 of the artist series where you guys get to hear all about Willie Nelson. And be on the lookout for the newsletter that'll come out on Friday. You get to vote on a song there.
Yeah, everybody loves doing that.
Shawn always writes an article with some tips about piano.
About piano. And the Willie Nelson thing will have our song that we're debuting that we wrote in the style of Willie Nelson. And
not easy, actually.
No. But we're really proud of it. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. We have a guitar player playing with us, and
that's one thing I'll give like a sneak peek. What we talk about in the podcast is how you would think episode 1 would be difficult because it was all about Elton John, that writing a song in the style of Elton John would be hard. But that actually was easier than the Willie Nelson one.
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, neat.
However, I'll say we know Elton John's music backward and forward.
Yeah. All right, so we will see you guys again this coming Wednesday, March the 17th?
Yeah,
something like
17th.
that. 17th at 12 noon Central Time, and we'll be able to chat and watch the podcast and hear our Willie Nelson song. So that'll be really fun. See you there.
All right.
All right, we're done. See you later. Bye-bye.